Everyone, it's such a pleasure being with all of you today on this fantastic show. Very important and interesting show. And welcome, Akika. It's wonderful seeing you from India. And I am in New York, and Akika is in India at a Bombay office. How's the weather in Bombay right now, Akika?
Extremely hot, sir.
Extremely hot. Oh, I must
Yes.
tell you that New York is beautiful out here. So, folks, the good news, what I like about the World Wide Web is that you can do the seminar from any place, webinar to be more precise with, from any place, anywhere, anytime. Isn't that wonderful? So there was a movie years ago we used to watch, and the name was Around the World in 80 Days. So now you can be around the world within 8 seconds. So the world has changed, and this is fantastic. So let's start kind of hitting the nail on the head. The EB-1A category. So Akika, I know that, from all over the world, we get a lot of questions. So now just let us educate our viewers. So even if you're in India, if you're in Australia, if you're anywhere in the world, or even if you're in the United States of America, this will be a wonderful video for you to watch. The reason is we are going to dumb it down as much as possible for people to understand that to get a green card under the EB-1A category is not a rocket science for a lot of people. So in a sense, the common misconception, especially for people who are in the US and who have a master's degree, is that I have to be absolutely brilliant, otherwise I cannot qualify under the EB-1A. That is incorrect. You need to just be ready to work hard. And once if you work hard, success will be at your feet. And if you're outside the United States, and if you're watching this video, the good news for you is that this will kind of educate you and let you know that in America, there are different ways for people to qualify for a green card. And the beauty of the EB-1A is you do not need a sponsor. You do not need a lot of money. You just need a good lawyer to work with. Plus, you need to have the credentials, which can be achieved by people who are extraordinary. So EB-1A applies to people who have extraordinary ability in the sciences, in the arts, in athletics, and in other fields of endeavors. So now we are going to start presenting you some slides. And if you're in New York, of course, you can call a New York office. And if you're in Bombay, Akika is the best person to talk to. And she has joined us from there. But let's start talking a little bit about it from a New Yorker's perspective first. So our office in New York, Gay and Associates, because these are two separate countries, two separate laws apply. So I'm going to talk about it from the American perspective. EB-1A for people who are in the US, that's going to be the first part of the session. The second part is going to be about if you are abroad, how can you get started with the EB-1A category? So firstly, I need to thank our moderators who are here today, Sabrina Matu, and then we have those who are here. We have Akika Gogoi from our Mumbai office, who's an advocate, and to join us today. So I would request Akika to be kind enough to start presenting some slides. The first one should be about the basic requirements for the EB-1A. And what is the EB-1A, if you have a slide for that? So people can understand. So we teach them everything. I'm going to go through everything. And also I'll tell them about the victories that we've recently had under the EB-1A category. So,
Yes, Mr. Gibb.
No problem, take your time. So I'll continue talking until then. So EB-1A is meant for people with exceptional ability. Exceptional ability means people who have done very well in the field of endeavor. So very well in the field of endeavor means there are 10 factors which US immigration has given to us. And out of 10, even if you only qualify for 3 out of the 10, even if you have a few of them, we can kind of do very well with that. Mastering the EB-1A visa process for direct green card acquisition. So now let's go through the factors and let's start, what is exactly, Akika, can you tell me the list of things which a person needs in order to qualify and the fields which are kind of required by immigration. So Sabrine will be kind enough to help us with the slide for this.
Yes, Mr. Giri.
All right, great. So until then, Akika, what I'm trying to say is that this is a wonderful kind of way for people to get the green card. The reason I like the EB-1A category is because the good news is that if you qualify under this category, your spouse and your children under the age of 21, isn't that wonderful? Not 18, Akika, until the age of 21 can come and join you for the green card. So the thing that we are going to talk about, opportunities for people. So let's go through the slide and let's see of how we can talk about it and what a difference it makes. So this is how acquiring a green card is direct, which means the first thing is you do not need a sponsor. Isn't that fantastic? Because the common misconception all over the world is going to America is difficult. It is difficult, but at the end of the day, if you have the right kind of attitude, and if you are brilliant, and we are also going to explain people by means of examples of who can generally qualify in this category. EB-1A is a part of the employment-based first preference category. Now, what is the first preference category? It includes people of extraordinary ability. It includes people who work in major corporations under the EB-1C, and it includes outstanding researchers and professors. So, but today we are going to talk about the EB-1A, and that is critically meant for people who are brilliant in the field of endeavor. So the easiest way for me to explain this is I'm going to give live examples because people understand by examples more than anything. So first let's take a look at the criteria. Extraordinary skills and ability in the field, national or international acclaim and recognition. So let's go slow over here. So do we remember this wonderful, great people who get, those great awards in running? Carl Lewis. Then we have P.T. Usha. And you have these great kind of boxers, like example, someone who's abroad. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Those are like people who are people of international acclaim. And example, if you've been a Mr. World, doesn't matter which country you are from, because you are Mr. World. Isn't that amazing? Even Mr. Australia, Mr. India may qualify because you have become big in your field of endeavor. Because you have received national or international acclaim and recognition. Let's talk about actors, Akika. Who's your favorite actor in India? Because you're in India, let's talk about India. And I'm going to talk about some other actors from other countries.
Okay, if you're asking me, then I would
say I'm
Ranbir
asking
Kapoor.
you. Who's your favorite actor in India?
Ranbir Kapoor.
All right. So now, Ranbir Kapoor, Aishwarya Rai, and what do you call that? Sonu Nigam, all these wonderful people, they have, I have very high regard for them since you're talking about India. Now let's talk about Scotland. My favorite, of course, is James Bond. And for me, if you're dealing with Sean Connery, of course, he would qualify because he's been in all the Bond movies and he is great. So if you are an actor who has received some international awards, like, our great Amitabh Bachchan in India, and you're looking at people like Brad Pitt in America, he's already here. But I'm just taking an example, Justin Bieber, all these people, I'm just taking simple examples. Some of them are Americans, of course. But these people have been fantastic in the field of endeavor. And, they do qualify, directly for a green card, and a very high regard for all of them. So they do qualify, directly under this category. And even if you're looking at those wonderful actors in India, what was that movie which was kind of in the Oscars recently? Indian, selection into the Oscars, if you remember, the South Indian movie. So I think someone can also text us and let us know. And that's a quiz for all of you. So that went up for the Oscars, and people in that movie who played a lead role are excellent examples about people who can qualify under this category because they have demonstrated national or international acclaim and recognition. Famous actors in Bollywood, Tollywood, or Lollywood, or in Australia, Germany, France, and who've been in the Cannes Film Festival, they've been in major film festivals across the globe, should consider this category. No, Kika, the reason why I like this category, and as I said, we are focusing first on people who are watching the show abroad. All right. The reason I like this category is because you don't need a sponsor and you don't need money. Means most commonly, a lot of these film actors, like a lot of them come to me and, they reach me or, somehow or the other after they, review our videos and everything. The beauty of this category is all these actors, which I've seen all over the world, all these, some of these people, they try to sell them the investor's visa. And they have to spend $1 million. Not needed. In a very small amount of money, you can directly qualify for a green card. And why do people do this? I can even tell you that. Now, take an example about a leading film actor in any part of the world, right from Kuwait, right from Dubai, to Australia, to the UK, or to India, or Germany, France, Italy. Now, the reason they do that, you're looking at this well-known celebrity, and you don't have to be the biggest actor in that country. You can be a well-known person, and you can be in music, and you can be a Booker Prize winner. You can be a scientist. The reason they generally do that is because they're children. And the mistake these people are doing actually is, you'd be surprised, Akika. They send them here on a student visa, and then they have to pay in-state tuition fees. And then the child wants to live in America, say, Dad, I want to be here for 5 years. Not possible. Because then, the children get stressed. Now see what I would do if I was an actor. And if I was an actor, or if I was a performer, like a dancer, well-known dancer, or a singer, the first thing I would do is get my green card under this category immediately. So your children under the age of 21 get the green card directly under you. The beauty of the American law is that your child has to be under 21 under Section 101 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. That means that if your child qualifies as a derivative beneficiary, the great news is he's coming on a green card because you are the celebrity who got the green card. Your spouse gets a green card, can be a husband or your wife, and can be your children under the age of 21. And the great news is, Akika, if you're in any country in the world, if you're watching this video, if you're in Australia, if you're in Germany, if you're in France, and if you're born in that country, the good news is that in 1 year, you can get the green card. Isn't that fantastic? Now, if you're in India, guess what? It's only 2 years. Because the category is just backed up, because I seen the last time it was February 2022. So in 2 years, you can qualify for the green card. The mistake that people are doing, they're reading too much that, oh my God, extraordinary ability is very difficult. The answer is, if you've already been up there, if articles have been written about you, if you have been published, look at what I'm saying now. Now, let's go to the next slide. So Akika, one does not have to be internationally renowned. You don't have to be a Booker Prize winner in order to qualify for this. You can be a mid-level person. You can be a scientist. You can be a well-known doctor. You can be a well-known lawyer who has done a lot of public good. You can be someone who's internationally renowned. You've gone to the Geneva conference. You have written, you've been before the Hague, like, in the Netherlands or under international law. You argued some of the most difficult cases in the world. You have been that great kind of basically change maker in the world. You are that well-known scientist who discovered something which not many people have discovered. You are that great software engineer. Look at what I'm saying. That great software engineer who worked for the top 5 companies and who was responsible for the change. And you have these publications on your name. You're commanding a high salary. Look at the criteria, 3 out of 10. So let's go into the 3 out of 10 categories, Sabrina. So now, the most important thing, there are 3 out of 10 categories which are needed. And I'm going to tell you some of them from the back of my head. Number one is that if you have a lot of publications on your name, if there are publications, which means your work has been published in newspapers, newspaper articles have been written about you. Or take an example, when we look at these, famous magazines, and they say, oh, this one is such a great actor. Fantastic. You already had publicity. You are on TV, newspapers, in magazines which are well known in your field of endeavor. In your field of endeavor, you're looking at those, great magazines. You're looking at, some great movies that you've done, and you were invited to the Cannes Film Festival, or you were invited to other top film festivals in the world, and you got some awards, French film festivals, Canadian film festivals, or UK film festivals, and you and Madame Tussauds this. All those things matter a lot. So, end of the day, look at your gut feeling will tell you that I am qualified. Now, let's talk about a scientist. All right, I know people might be waiting. How come he's just focused on actors? Don't worry, I have a game plan here. So now, a kick about a scientist, right? Look at this great scientist who did something during COVID. Fantastic. He wrote articles. That doesn't mean he does not qualify, but he did amazing work during COVID. He got published. He said, this may be a cure for the future. Excellent. Someone who has written about AIDS. Someone who has written about nuclear physics. And NASA recognized his talent. Wow, what a brilliant guy. It can mean aerospace engineering. It can mean computer science. It can mean artificial intelligence. If you're that well-known dancer, fantastic. And you perform very well internationally, and your dance was very much recognized. Fantastic. How about a magician, Akika? Even a magician can qualify because he went abroad. He performed as a magician. Look at this. People forget the beauty of this. A fantastic artist. I know you love art. So, Akika, I want to change your major to art right now to come to America. All right. So, if you're that great artist and who's won recognition internationally, consider this category. All you need is a good lawyer working with you to understand what it is. So, let's go slow at what we said. Number one is that you can be a leader in your field, which means that by highlighting significant contributions and achievements, by establishing prominence and leadership in the field visas, you're a leader in that field. Leader means exactly, you are kind of working in the field of, medicine, pharmacy. And you've written a lot in these great pharmaceutical magazines, and you're lecturing at all these institutions regarding a particular medicine, of why this medicine is absolutely fantastic. And if you feel that this can be a cure for certain diseases, excellent. And all these medical magazines internationally have written about you. Hallelujah. You already have most of it, what is needed. And then after that, we need to make sure that you've been published a lot, or, people write about your work. That's all is needed, because America is a great country. They are asking you to only qualify 3 out of 10. And the most common 3 which people have, some of them have these big awards. One big award is enough. A Booker Prize, fantastic, done. Grammy Award, done. Guinness Book of World Award, you're done. Now, if you don't have that, heartbeat, 3 out of 10. Get 3 out of 10 and you can qualify. The 3 out of 10 have to be, you should have a lot of publications on your name. You should have been well known in your field of endeavor, which means you should be great at lecturing. You should be a member of prestigious associations. Prestigious doesn't mean those regular associations. There should be an entry requirement to those big associations. Means invitation only, through invitation only. Then only they're going to admit you over there. That's the third thing that is needed. And the fourth thing, which is actually generally considered, is if, you've been a speaker, you've been kind of writing a lot. And thirdly, basically, you're a member of associations. And fourth, your work is published. And fifthly, if you're kind of basically, an inventor. So these are common things which are required, which are not that difficult. And what people have to say about your work and everything, those factors are looked by American immigration. So now, Sabrina, if you could move on to the next screen, if there's anything else that I would. Okay, collecting an organization, supporting evidence, crafting a compelling personal statement. That's where I think lawyers come in, because you have to comply with the law. And generally, there's one misconception, Akika. People think that it's very simple. Now I got the 3 out of 10. I meet the requirements. The answer is no. Immigration looks at these things under a microscope. So a lot of people say that, okay, I have these 3 requirements. Now what? Now the harder part of the job is that what the lawyer has to do, he has to deep dive into it to build that particular category with you. Which means just by having that credential doesn't mean you qualified. Immigration needs detailed explanation about every single thing. They don't make it that easy. Of why we should give you the green card. What is so special about you? Why are you so special, unique, and extraordinary? Look at the word I used. Why are you that extraordinary person? And generally, when they look at the case, the way they look at it is, I think we can find people like this over here. So that's what the lawyer has to work with you to deep dive into this category. Now, recently, we did a green card for a person who just had a regular master's degree from the United States of America. He was in the sciences. But what we did with him is we told him that you'll have to spend some time. And he said that I meet the 3 out of 10. When I looked at it, I said, no, you're not perfect yet for this. You're just scratching the surface right now. Which means you just have the basic requirement, but we need to build on it. Building the EB-1A case is an art. And if you build your case properly, the fantastic news is your I-140 petition, which means the heart of the green card, your permanent resident application will be approved if you're ready to work hard. So we spoke about dancers, we spoke about any kind of performers, we spoke about athletes, at least, if you're that well-known P.D. Usha, if you're a Carl Lewis, if you're that, great kind of basically runner or that great boxer or that great wrestler, your children can benefit, you can benefit, your spouse can benefit. How do you like that, Akika?
Wonderful, sir.
All right, so that is fantastic. Now, let's basically move to the next slide. Sabrina, if you can. Okay, submitting supporting documents and evidence. That is the hardest part here. That's what lawyers have to do for you. And now, one important thing, Akika, I want to point out. The common question that we get from people are that I am based right now in Australia. I'm based in New York. If you're in New York, very easy to contact me, Gay and Associates. If you're in India, Akika is the best person to talk to. But the key is the question that we get, if I am abroad, I'm in Australia, I'm in England, I'm in Germany, I'm in France, how do I begin the process? If you're in England, Germany, France, first take a look at your own resume. And even if you think, how would I start thinking? I have a PhD degree. Superb. You're already up there, pal, because most PhDs have publications. They have a thesis written. There's some publications. You already are meeting most of these things. And you have these kind of articles written about you with foreign authors. You're literally up there. Look at how I'm thinking. And you're that actor looking at this video. You're already up there. You acted in this great movie. The movie got awards. You're already up there. Number 2, you're this dancer. You performed in some American theater company, British theater company, went internationally. People clapped. You got these major awards. Already up there. You're this magician. You performed over there. You're this great singer. Like to Love You, Baby. Great. You sang those songs. You're already up there. So kind of what I'm trying to say is that look at yourself. And believe it or not, there have been people who came to me, told me, Mr. Gay, I don't think so. I meet the criteria. I said, hey, pal, you already meet it. Now, from an international perspective, you're sitting in your home And the world is very easy. So, you can email us. I'll be happy to look at your credentials for sure and see what we can do for you. Now, how about if you're in the United States of America? That's the second part of it. Hakikat, the common misconception of these people who are from India and China and even from other countries is, I need an H-1B. I want to go under the EB-3. I want to go under the EB-2. Most of these people I meet, they're working for Fortune 500 companies or they're working on projects for them. Hallelujah, you're already getting a $200,000 salary, pal. You're already making a big salary. You have a master's from the United States. You're 50% through. Are you ready to put in that extra 50% of time and get your green card directly, or wait for 15 years if you're from India or from these countries for a green card? Think about that. There's a saying, you cannot climb Mount Everest. You cannot climb Mount Everest without a Sherpa. You need a Sherpa Tenzing for you to take it up over there. A lawyer can be a Sherpa in this case. And that's why you will need someone to guide you through this process, otherwise it can become extremely difficult. So if you realize, the beauty of this category is that you can bypass the entire labor certification process. You can bypass a lot of things over here, which means you don't need a sponsor. All you need is your own qualifications, because America is always looking at talent from all over the world. So we have a question here from a viewer. So let's see what the question is about. I want to know, how is national or international acclaim demonstrated in the EB-1? I just mentioned about this issue, that national or international, example, you're a film actor. If you're that well-known scientist who has been written about a lot anywhere in the world, you're that well-known bicyclist. How could I forget a bicyclist? A well-known boxer whose work has been internationally renowned. A martial artist, how's that? How about a well-known cartoonist? Someone who's very good in drawing cartoons. It can be anything, folks. It can be anything, but your work has to be published. That's the key. A well-known journalist. How about that? And it can be a well-known Booker Prize winner. Someone who's written books. Look at that. The bottom line is, think about yourself. And if you're that person, see, it's so easy. I tell people, are you hanging out with celebrities? Celebrities does not mean movies only. It can be in your field of endeavor, like you're with well-known scientists, with top ID professionals. And please don't be someone like who's just chasing them, but you should be up there. That's what I'm trying to say. And if you are the person who is kind of basically up there, start looking into this category. Look at, whether a PhD, even if you don't have to be qualified at all. You don't need a PhD. Look at this. You don't need a master's, Akika. You just need to meet the 3 out of 10 criteria. A common mistake that people think is that they need a master's degree. I need basically a, PhD degree. The answer is no. If you're highly qualified, if you have that one big award, you may directly qualify for a green card. How do you like this, Akika? So there's room for everybody, right?
Yes.
So I tell people, start inventing. Do something if you want to come to America. And for example, if you have a disability, that's such a fantastic example. If you've done a lot for disabled people and you become a leader, and if you're a eunuch and you did a lot for the eunuch society, made them big, make them powerful, you're a leader. See, leadership. Your work was recognized by newspapers that this is such a great human being internationally. Get an award at an international level. You're someone who stood up for widows and the world recognized you. Clap, that's such a powerful woman in the world. Mm-hmm. Great. But you have to meet the 3 out of 10 criteria. I'm just taking examples because ultimately it boils down to the law. Let's look at the second question here. All right, sustained acclaim. Sustained means the key is that in these kind of situations, immigration looks at whether you're continuously progressing in your field of endeavor. Suppose I was a boxer 20 years ago and I retired now, I have nothing to do. It's not going to work. It's not going to fly. If you become a coach, you're still training people in boxing. That is, you're sustaining yourself, you're training boxers. So which means your kind of devotion to your field of endeavor has to be continuous in nature. That is critically important. Now, what are the common mistakes these big celebrities do? Some of them get ripped off by lawyers. Some of them get ripped off by lawyers. I'm a straight shooter, I don't hold behind. They force them to apply under the investor visa program when they really know that this great man already has the credentials. A good lawyer would not do that, because a good lawyer believes in the true administration of justice. And to believe in the true administration of justice, it's the duty of the lawyer to look at the qualifications of the client properly. I'm not saying that the lawyer is going to kind of win every case. No lawyer can ever win every single case. And if someone is telling you that I can win every case, that is impossible. Firstly, the legal profession doesn't allow you that, but a lawyer can say that you have a good case. But no lawyer can guarantee you victory. The same ethics apply in the medical profession. So end of the day, screening a case is important. And if you win, hallelujah. And if not, be a good sport. Don't cry like a baby. Oh, the lawyer messed me up. No. Ultimately, in anything you're going to do in your life, it's up to the government to judge whether you are qualified or no. And there's another good thing, Akika, about the American system. So suppose if you failed for the first time, America is also allowing you to reapply, because they're telling you, you do not have this one thing remaining. Work hard and get it done. How simple is that? So there's a saying in English that fortune favors the brave. And if you're brave, ready to work hard, get your green card under this category. Folks, if you're from India or China, it's only 2 years. And if you're from any other country, in 1 year, you may qualify for the green card. And this is fantastic for people who live in any country in the world. You might be in Iceland looking at the show. You might be in Australia looking at the show. You might be in India. You might be in Singapore. You may be in the United States of America on a visit visa, and you want to go back and get a green card there. Or you may be here on an H-1B. You may be on an L-1 visa in the USA. You may be on a spouse visa. Doesn't matter. If you are that superhero who has achieved something in their lives, how do you look at this case? Think about how many publications you have. Publications can be filmy publications, can be anything. How many times the media has covered you? That's the first sign that you have something. And thirdly, think at how many leadership awards you have internationally or well-known national awards. And look whether the TV channels are chasing you. Not in a big way. You know, you can be someone who's a dancer and the TV channel want to come to you and tell you this. And if you're in the USA, you have a master's degree already. You wrote some publications. You're 50% through, folks. You're commanding a high salary. You're already 50% through. You went to a great Ivy League, already 50% through. People have to understand that on the internet, people make a mountain of a mole. And the reason is, Akika, all these big companies will never show you this way, a lot of them. Because the talent will be lost. People will get the green cards on their own, and they will not be kind of, they will not be working over there for years together, for 20 years. And, end of the day, they'll lose that prestigious talent that they have. That's why it's not a very common thing for companies to let you know that you may qualify under the EB-1A, speak to a lawyer. Ultimately, for them, you are an asset. But if you're smart, If you're intelligent, find a different way to get your green card, because your kids might be growing up in the United States. They might be telling you, Dad, I don't know what's going to happen to me. Mom, what I'm not going to do. But the sad reality is people sometimes think so much about the money. But the sad thing is that people will spend money on movies, clothes, travel, but they will not spend money on the green card, some of them. Don't know why. In order to live in America, you need a green card first, folks. Human nature. That cannot be changed. It's too expensive. If it is expensive, what are you getting? The green card. That's the key. So let's see if you have some more questions. Akika, I hope you enjoyed the session.
Yes, a lot, Mr. Gay. It's very interesting to know different criteria.
Now, let's have a summation over here. Number one is that, yes, you can take your spouse and your dependents to the USA and they get a green card also. Fantastic, right? So your wife, your children, they can also get a green card, and that is absolutely fantastic. And the bottom line is, now let's give a summation. Who should consider? What people like about me is my closing statements, because I make it very easy for people to understand. Number one, and don't be scared, is for people who have big awards, like our Big B. I have a lot of respect for him. And then you're looking at, people who had all those major awards. Easy, piece of cake. It cannot be that difficult for us to get you there. A Grammy Award winner, that's level one. Level two is important for you. You're a well-known scientist. Your publications or your work has been written up in different magazines. You're a leader. You talk about it at different conferences all over the world, and your work is recognized, and you're a member of top associations. If you're a scientist, you're in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and people all over the world have a lot of praise for you. You're that well-known professor who's written about a particular subject, internationally renowned, and especially in the sciences, you see that a lot. You're an inventor. Inventors are always welcomed by the United States of America. That is fantastic. Or you can be a software inventor. You have patents. Look at what I'm talking about. If you have patents, great. That shows that you're someone extraordinary. International patents, think about it. No, Akika, why people need a green card? And I'll tell you why. Even if you are anywhere in the world, if you have a green card, you can keep it. And you can keep kind of extending your green card for a few years, and you can be abroad too. Good for your children to study in the United States of America. Good for you to set up your business in America. Good to do trade. And of course, I live in New York City, the amazing place in this world. 42nd Street, Fifth Avenue, come for shopping, Saks, beautiful. Drive on the great highways of the world. Go to California. Visit Hollywood. Wow. Go to Disney World. Go to Florida. And how about the Rocky Mountains? Then above all, I forgot something else. How about the Niagara? I'm saying about Niagara, okay? I mean, I want to make sure that I spelled the word Niagara three times. I'm talking about the Niagara Falls, folks, to be more precise with. Come and visit the Niagara Falls. It's absolutely beautiful. And you're going to really have a blast in your life. So if America is your goal, and if you are that person who is extraordinary, even if you're not, if you're close to being extraordinary, consult with any good lawyer of your choice and get up there, because there's a very good saying in English, fortune favors the brave. When the great get going, the going gets great. It takes a little more to be a champion, and you are a champion. And good luck from Attorney Gehi. And we'll be back again 2 weeks from now, same time, same place. And our topic next time is going to be the O visa. And the O visa is very important for people who actually want to come and perform in the United States of America. Thank you, folks. And hope that you all have a wonderful day. And the last important thing, doesn't matter where you are. In the United States of America, you can change your status to a green card. And if you're abroad, you can come directly on a green card to the United States. So thank you, and we'll be back again. A big thank you to Akika Gogoi in Bombay, and a big thank you to Sabrina Matu and to Dosu for all the technical assistance. And 2 weeks from now, we'll be back again, and it's easy for people to reach us. This is attorney Naresh M. Gehi from Gehi and Associates in New York. Naresh M. Gehi from Gehi and Associates in New York. And in the US, our website is gehilaw.com. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Gigi.
Thank you, everyone.